Well, team selection under Mark Robins has been a bit of a key focus from Stoke fans as of late. And off the back of a 2-0 defeat to Derby on Easter Monday, you definitely feel that there's going to be wholesale changes ready for the game against Blackburn on Saturday. Now, there's a number of players for me that in these last 5 games have to show what they're made of and will have their future decided if they are going to be at the club next season in these last 5 games. So with that being said, I think there's going to be a huge number of changes in this one and a number of players that were on the bench in that game against Derby that have to feature in this one. Now, the team selection has always been quite a difficult one for Mark Robins as of late. He's had injuries throughout the season. Now, I know every other team in the Championship has had the same, but the key injuries that Stoke have had has been quite a difficult one, and I think Mark Robins would want to base a lot of his team selections around some of the injured players. Victor Johansson, Shamadou, Lewis Baker has to come in contention for that one as well. Sorba Thomas has probably been the only one that and Ashley Phillips, Lowell as well, also you can put up there as well, that you're basing your team around. So I think it has been a little bit of a difficult one, and one that he has had his hand tied behind his back. However, as of late, due to the poor run of results, and of course the game against Derby on Easter Monday, where the team selection has had a lot of focus on it, I do think that this one has a massive, massive focus on, 1, getting a result, 2, showing who does still want to fight for the badge, and 3, who's going to be here next season. I think, as Mark Robins has said, he did a very, very honest interview post-match, and I think that's, in a way, exactly what Stoke fans want. They would rather a manager, and I know I would, I'd rather a manager come out and say, we didn't play well, the 3,100 Derby fans, Stoke fans at Derby didn't deserve that. There's players in this team that didn't prove themselves, that didn't show what they're made of, and I think it is an indication as to who we are going to have next season with a new badge, with a new vision, with a new season where we want something to change. And I think there's players at the club right now that probably aren't going to be involved in that, and Mark Robins probably knows that. So I think this team selection is going to really, really show us who wants it, who Mark Robins trusts. And I think with players coming back from injury now, surely with a week in between, well, not a week, but from Monday to then the game on Saturday, with a good period of time for them to rest, I do think that surely he has a bit more room to play with. So in terms of starting 11, of course, Gavin Bazunu in goal. Obviously, coming back from injury, he had that one game where we were in the 0-0 draw against QPR and then got injured. For me, I don't think he's really put a foot wrong. You can't blame him for the 2 goals against Derby. I don't think he's... I might be wrong, I might have missed something, but I don't think he's particularly done anything wrong. I think when he's on the ball, he's made the right decisions. He has clearly been told to, on goal kicks, we had one where Lowell took the goal kick to him, and he lumped it up long, but precise, was accurate with his pass, and we got up the pitch, and it was good hold-up play from Jezron Raksaki. So I don't think he's done anything wrong. I think, you know what, there's obviously a conversation there about if Johansson's to go, will Bazunu be a good backup? And for me, I don't think he's put a foot wrong. So, of course, he starts in goal. In terms of your back four, now I'm going to start with the centre halves first. Now, apart from Ben Gibson, Talavierov's out injured and Wilmot's out injured. Gibson's your only one centre half-wise that would then come in. And I wouldn't be against it, if I'm being totally honest. Don't get me wrong, I think there'd then be Stoke fans that would pull the face or not be happy with it. But I think when he's come in and covered at left back, he hasn't really done too much wrong at all. He's done what he's been told to do and what he is capable of doing. So he could come in to maybe free up Lowell, that I think should definitely be playing in the midfield and give us a bit more physicality, which we totally lost in the midfield in the Derby game. But I think you will start, or will see, Lowell start left centre back and Phillips start at right centre back. I think that's a given. I'm not going to say that they had a bad game, but I think maybe it was one of their worst games that they've had. I think in terms of Carlton Morris and that is his second goal, beating Phillips to it. Phillips ending up on the floor and him having the time and space to score. I think, look, Phillips and Lowell are 2 key players, and for me, we're going to do a huge job if we could get Phillips next season, but Lowell is another one as well that I think we really need to base this team around, and I think he should be playing in the midfield. But terms of the centre-back partnership, they're you two that I think should definitely start every day of the week, especially with the likes of Ben Wilmot being out. In terms of full-backs wise, Junior Chamadou, for me, if he's fit and ready, right back, every day of the week, we need him back. And I'm not saying we need, I mean as in, we are missing the ability that he had, the influence that he had, especially at the start of the season. But Mark Robins has mentioned a little hamstring issue there. That's why he wasn't involved in the squad in the Derby game. Could we see him back? I think if he's fit and ready, and especially with a week in between or 5 days or so, surely we will see Chamadou. But then do you then rush it? That's another good point. But if not, then I would then have Agina playing there. I don't think... Yes, he had a tough game, but made a absolutely cracking last-ditch tackle to stop, I think it was Carlton Morris again, but made an absolute cracking recovery tackle, absolutely superb stuff. Had a difficult job against Adjumang. I think he's a good player, he's an informed player, and was always going to be a difficult one, who's a bit more tall, a bit physical, good technical ability as well. I think it was always going to be a difficult one, but if it's not Chamadou, then I don't want to see Lawal covering. I think Agina should then be given the opportunity in front of the home fans as well. I think he deserves it. In terms of left back, I wouldn't be against Bocat playing there again. I think he's one that should have done better at his opportunity that he had against Derby. Obviously a difficult effort on the left foot, trying to drive it across. Just didn't get the connection he wanted. So it could be him that starts it. But if Cresswell's available and fit and ready for this one, I'd like him to start there at home. We need the crowd on our side. We need to get 3 points against, I'm not going to say a poor opposition, because I think it's difficult to say they're poor and we're not after a lacklustre performance against Derby. But I would like to see Cresswell there. It gives us a little bit more assurance. I think he also can whip in an absolute wand of a left foot, and who I think should start an attack. Hopefully could be an outlet for us, and maybe a better link up with Sorba Thomas as well. So then Cresswell at left back. In terms of the midfield too, very, very difficult. We've had Nzonzi and Seko there for quite a number of weeks, or been the consistent ones as of late in terms of who've been in the starting 11. For me, you've got to look at, is there a reason why Pearson's not been coming off the bench? Similar to Cresswell, he was on the bench against Derby, didn't come off. Is there a reason? Does he have a slight niggle? That's a possibility. But for me, I do think that he has to start in this one, Pearson, with Baker. Now, I think that's definitely one that we've not seen this season, or not really seen in terms of midfield partnership, but we know works. We know both of them can fight for the badge. We know both of them can get every single crowd member out, we don't know, every single Stoke fan off the feet, happy, fighting for the badge, get a foot in, be physical, can do all that, the dirty work, but also have the ability to read the game and intercept and get us playing the football that Mark Robins clearly wants. So I'll go for them too, and I think with Rigo, I think he's obviously come off with a hamstring injury. You presume that he's not going to be involved until next season kind of thing. Him, maybe even Seko and Baker, but I would like to see Baker starting this one. Yes, I know he's coming back from injury, but I'd rather him play 60 minutes, and especially with the little not cameo appearances, but the sort of appearances that he's had, start this game and say, give me 60 minutes, and I'm sure Mark Robins will be pleased with that, especially from a player like Lewis Baker, that would much rather probably want that and want to be back in them starting 11s and not coming off the bench and really get a grip of the game, which is what he's really good at doing. And then in front of him in the number 10 role, my issue from the Derby game was I get that Schmidt come on to replace Jun Ho, but I don't understand it. I don't get the reasoning. I don't get the idea behind it. I'm a fan of Schmidt in terms of wanting him to do well, and I know every Stoke fan wants him to do well, but obviously you've got players or fans that will say he's not done enough just yet, but he's still settling in. However, the reason I'm talking about him is because of Jun Ho, and Jun Ho coming off to replace Rigo to then be dragged off in the second half in the, 77th minute, 83rd, something like that, in and around that time period. For me, Jun Ho's another one that I've got a sneaky feeling there's something not right between him and Robins, and we've not seen him in the starting 11 for quite a number of games now. Will he be given the chance? I hope so. You can't keep... I'm not going to say can't keep, because he has been giving him starts, but you can't then keep expecting sub-appearances to then make a difference if you're not then going to allow him to have that starting block, especially... Or be in the starting, where, especially with a game on Friday and a game on Monday, where we didn't really see a lot of rotation from this side. So in terms of the number 10 role, I put Manuf there. I think Manuf has to start. I think you then look at Jezron Raksaki playing at right wing with Sorba Thomas at left wing. I think with Jezron Raksaki being in on loan, I think you have to give him a number of games. I think we've seen glimpses of him. We know his quality. We know what he can do. We've seen what he did at Risensport, at Sheffield United. We've seen little glimpses as well. But I think there's more to give. And I think in a way, there's question marks a little bit about, well, we brought him in on loan. We haven't really had enough of an impact from him in terms of players that can take the games and show the quality. And he obviously got his goal in... I can't think what game it was now. I can't think at all. Sheffield Wednesday? I might be wrong. It's either Sheffield Wednesday, Oxford, or... I can't think of it off the top of my head. Might even be the Watford game. I might be absolutely miles off. But I think there's more to give from Raksaki, and with him being on loan, I think he'll start. I can't see him being dropped to the bench. Sorba Thomas every day of the week starts at left wing, and then I think Manuf in the middle. And having that freedom to, like Bobby Clark did, wasn't really in one set position, had that freedom, and he can come over to the right, and like he did in the Oxford game, had that little bit of joy to pick up the ball, or to cross the ball, or to have a little bit of a link-up play with it, with Raksaki, or have that. Now, it could be Jun Ho, and I'd like to see a Jun Ho that's got that fire in his belly to show what he's made of. That's a possibility as well. But for me, I'm going to go for Manuf in the 10, Sorba on the left, and Jezron Raksaki on the right. Up front, now I think what Lamine Cisse brings, the ability to drag his defender out and draw in a foul, has been absolutely excellent as of late, and probably since he's been playing there. But for me, it's been a tricky one, and I think he's had his time there, and maybe he gets moved over to the wing and could be one that I'm miles off with. But I think we're then not having the opportunity, or taking the opportunity of set pieces, and him getting these fouls, to them getting the ball into the box with the likes of Sorba Thomas and not creating anything, then in a way just makes him getting the foul or drawing in the foul a little bit wasted. So for me, I'd like to say Schmidt be given a chance again. I get it. I think Cisse, out of the strikers we've had this season, Mabama, Bosniak, Cisse, Schmidt, Gallagher, none of them have really kicked on or progressed to then say that is my role. I think Cisse has made it his own as of late, but then we've not seen a huge array of goals. But I think what he brings to the table, his pace, his pressing, his non-stop attitude, I think he's been key. I think it goes a little bit under the radar, but I would like to say Schmidt replace for this one, or come in for this one, sorry, and just give him that chance. Yes, I know that there's a lot to his game that he needs to improve on, but if we have Cresswell, if we have Sorba Thomas, if you've got the likes of Manuf as well that can cross the ball into the box, give us an outlet. Now, it could be Gallagher, and that's how we see it, but I think Schmidt deserves a chance again and back in the starting 11, and I think that's a fair option. I think if he can then start to build something last 5 games of the season, then validate why we brought in, then validate, he should start next season under Mark Robins. Let's have that. So that's the team I'm going to go for. Let me know what you think. Am I miles off? Am I potentially saying too many changes? Is it unrealistic? Is the players like Seko and Nzonzi could also come in and be alongside Baker? That's an option as well. But for me, I do just think that team, after a lacklustre performance against Derby, potentially can get us the 3 points, can hopefully just give the Stoke fans something, a lift, and especially with the home form that we've had, hopefully 3 points is coming our way and we can move further up that table and just try and ignore all the poor performances that we've had of us as of late, if I can put my teeth in. But that's what I'm going to go for. Let me know what you guys think, and if you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, and comment as well. You might as well. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.